You're not quite who you used to be, and that's okay. Now, in this video, I'm going to share 7 points to kind of bring you to the realization that you're changing and it's all for the good. All right. So the first of those 7 points is we can have a quiet realization that we've begun to change. And it doesn't happen necessarily in one dramatic moment. It's generally subtle. It's a shift in preferences, a drop in tolerance for something, or a desire fades, right? You wake up one day and you think, I don't think I fit into my old life anymore. Now, I remember when I was 33, I went to Colorado to visit my sister who lived there, and we went skiing. We went to Copper Mountain. We skied twice. The first day we went to Breckenridge. The second day we went to Copper Mountain. And after a morning of skiing, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we came in. We went, the après ski and everything in the lodge with the fire, fireplace, stone fireplace, beautiful thing, everything. And we're sitting there having lunch. And I remember looking out the window and I said to Sherry, it's cold out there. I don't think I want to go back out there. Now, it's kind of funny because less than a year after that, I moved to Michigan, where I grew up skiing. I started skiing when I was about 12 years old, to California, where it wasn't something so readily available, particularly in San Diego. Now, is a change in preferences influenced by where you live? Share with me in the comments where you're from, and if you like, your age. I read every comment and reply to most of them. And share if something in your preferences changed as a result of a move. All right. Number 2 is the grief of outgrowing your old self. And no one talks about the sadness that comes with growth. You're not necessarily just letting go of habits. You're letting go of a true version of you. And it's normal to feel a little disoriented or maybe nostalgic. Now, as much as I was happy to give up skiing, I was not so happy when I realized that I had kind of given up figure skating. Growing up in Michigan, I started figure skating when I probably was maybe 2 or 3 years old. People used to create ice rinks in their backyard, and they'd take like a metal kitchen chair out and you'd kind of use it to pull yourself up because you're constantly falling at that age, right? And I grew up figure skating and going to lessons for, parks and recreation. And then I reached a point in high school where it was like I kind of discovered boys. And at the same time as I discovered boys, I had exhausted all the Parks and Rec offerings as far as figure skating. And if I was going to continue, I had to get into like very expensive private lessons that there's no way my parents could have afforded that, And so now when I watch like the World Championships or the Olympics or anything, there's a sadness within me. I go, could I have done that? Because I was getting pretty good with like the spins and jumps and stuff like that. I don't know, it just kind of life moved on. Right. And so I watch them and it makes me a little sad. I remember I kept skating into my 30s. I had a job one time where for a year I worked just a couple blocks away from a big ice skating rink. And I would go there on my lunch hour in my professional, suit with a skirt on, and I would lace up my skates and go skate for half an hour. So anyway, all right. So the third thing is that when it comes to you're not quite who you used to be, is releasing the emotional clutter that builds up during transitions in our lives. For example, the old expectations of who we're supposed to be, or old roles, that we were supposed to play and live in because they fit other people's expectations of us, and the old stories about who you should be rather than who you really want to be. Those old things tend to create a certain kind of emotional noise that makes the shift feel even heavier than it is. Now, number 4 is in this kind of progression here is the moment that you stop pretending. That's a good thing. There's always a click. There's a moment where you just can't fake it anymore. You stop forcing yourself into friendships that don't feel right for you, routines, or identities that no longer fit the kind of person that you're becoming as you grow and mature. This is the beginning of emotional clarity. And also, we kind of let go of that fear of what other people will think. Identity shifts threaten the people who benefit from your old patterns. When I moved from Michigan to San Diego, there were people who thought I should be a certain way. And I really moved away from that. And, some of those friendships I didn't keep because I no longer fit the roles and expectations people thought that I should play. And I stopped worrying about what other people will think. It's normal to worry about being judged, misunderstood, or being sort of too much. But the truth is that a lot of people adjust faster than you think, right? And then the next step on this progression is the relief of finally being honest with yourself. When you stop performing, stop being the old version of you, your nervous system kind of like relaxes and eases because you feel at home and you feel like you are truly becoming you. You feel lighter, calmer, and more grounded. And this is where real life begins. And then finally, the bonus, number 7, is that permission to become who you actually are. Identity shifts are not a crisis. They're actually an invitation. You're not losing yourself. You're returning to yourself, to who you truly are. This is emotional adulthood, which means choosing the life that fits the woman you've become. This is Denise, what I wish I knew at 30. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and like I said, I read every comment and I respond to most of them, so I'd love to see yours. Thank you.